Well, congratulations. I think this is a beautiful film. Thank you very much. Thank you for wanting to do it in the first place. It takes courage to want to do a film about dance. And thank you for being so exposed and so honest. So I guess, yeah, my first question is you share a lot of very intimate and fragile and private moments. How did you feel about doing it? And did you understand from the beginning that it was going to be this much?
No, I didn't.
Would you have said yes?
Honestly, when they first approached me, it was when I was really injured and I didn't know, like 5 doctors had told me you'll never dance again. And I only knew Garen. Sorry, I'll talk louder. And I only knew Garen out of the team. And so when he came to me, I said, honestly, I'm just trying to grasp the fact that I might never dance again, and I don't know if I can actually have cameras around during that process. And I said, I think what I can do is I can say, you can come with me to my last doctor's appointment. And depending on what news I get then I'll let you know if you can continue following me or not. And I didn't get the news saying, like, you can go back to dancing, but I got the news that it had healed enough that I could slowly start and see where it would go. And that was what this film was supposed to be about, just the injury and making it back to the stage. But we didn't really have, like, an ending. And what was beautiful, I think, is that they ended up following me for so much longer, that so many different things happened in my life that obviously I never expected. And so what the film originally started out as is not how it ended. And so had I known so much of it, I don't know if I would have said yes. But I think because there was trust from the amount of time we had, that the film ended up being better because I knew them for longer. So I was able to, like, let them in a bit more.
Did you ever forget the cameras were there?
No. No, I mean, I think when you're dancing, it's almost the easiest because you're just in your own world. But when you're with personal things, that was a little harder for me.
So Garen, was it your idea to begin with?
Yeah, it was my idea to film Tyler. I can't take credit for the whole project because that was Alex Ramsey, our director here, who said, we actually went out to coffee. We'd met on another project, which was a TV series called The Choreographers that I was working on with Christopher Wheeldon, which never went anywhere. But we did create a beautiful sizzle reel, and Alex edited it, and I was like, who is this guy? He's so good. I want to meet him. And so we went out for coffee, and Alex said, I want to make a short film about a dancer coming back from an injury. Can I do it about you? I was still dancing at the time. And I was like, well, I don't have an injury, and my story's not that interesting, but I know who is. And I wonder if Tyler would be open to it, and that's where the idea came from. So, and then shortly after, Eric jumped in, and the film was born more than 6 years ago.
So, Alex, can you give us a little bit of an insight into your creative process and directing and editing, and also what you hope the audience, both the ballet domains, but also people that are not into ballet, perhaps can get of this film?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you to SF Dance for having us. This is such an amazing opportunity to screen this film in this theater. It's just been amazing. But just to give a little insight into the process, when Garen told me about Tyler's story, I was just so intrigued. I mean, it sounded devastating. And I had so many questions on a human level. I'm not a dancer myself. I knew nothing about dance. And that's kind of... I do now. Tyler would say I don't, but I do. But yeah, it all started in a podcast studio of all places. After Garen told me about Tyler's story, I invited her to do an interview, and she brought her mom, and we had our first conversation. It's funny, the audio from that interview is still in this film 6 years ago. So a lot of what you hear in the film now, the voiceover is from that. And so my process really revolves around audio. That's like the main thing for me. And so we'll do interviews, follow Tyler around, and we'll build the story around that audio. And then we'll lay in music. We have no visuals yet. We're still like building out like what it's gonna feel like. And then we obviously continue to follow Tyler, and we have more of those like verite fly on the wall moments. But at the same time, I'm trying to do something intentional and build like subjective visuals that make you feel like you're experiencing Tyler's story with her. And to build on your question about what I hope audiences get out of this, I mean, so when I started out making this project, many people told me I was the wrong person to make this film because I'm not a dancer. And, you know, I felt like I was the perfect person to make this film because, I mean, not to be cocky, but
Directors have to believe in themselves.
truly,
You said
when
it.
you know nothing about something and you have all these questions, I think that's the best place to start a project. And so I really hope people get that like human side of Tyler's story and her resilience, and you know, maybe they're inspired to, you know, have their own third act and pursue whatever they want to pursue. Because you know, I hope we bottled that spirit in Tyler and put it in this film.
And I love that part too, because, and Eric's also not from the dance world. And, you know, Tyler and I talked about this early on. It's like a lot of dance films are made by dancers because they are in the world, they understand it, they know it, they have access to it. And we wanted to make a film that's in more ways than one for the uninitiated to ballet, to bring more people into this amazing art form. And so it was really like Tyler and I and Eric and Alex, you know, figuring out how to break through these moments and get across like what the form is, how hard it is, or how special this kind of performance is. And so I think the mix actually really helped us along the way, which we couldn't have identified so much at the beginning, right? Right, Eric?
Definitely not. Yeah, I think it allowed us to have that like perspective, and it was great collaboration. And I just remember there's a lot of conversations during the edit about like what was like the right dance move and what looked good, and we definitely learned a lot.
And Eric knows all about sprung floors now, and
ballet
point
shoes.
shoes, ordering point shoes, and taking care of dancers' needs on
Yeah.
set.
Oh yeah.
Great. We'll be calling you.
Call me up.
But that brings me to a question that occurred to me when I was watching, and a reflection I had through my career, because I studied in a very small school in Madrid. So when I ended up dancing in places like the Royal Ballet or Paris Opera or the Barinsky, I always felt like I didn't belong, like I was an outsider, and I was told so, quite frankly, because I hadn't gone to the right schools. And for many years, I thought that was a hindrance in my career, that I wasn't part of the club. And then eventually I realized that it was a huge positive, because then I had so many questions, and I also had no certainty to defend. You know, I didn't come for a pedigree, so I didn't have to defend anything because I was nobody. And I felt a little bit the same from you, the fact that you came from jazz and commercial theater, and even though you ended up, of course, going to the School of American Ballet and into New York City Ballet so young, but it always felt to me that you were still an outsider inside somehow, and that gave you the freedom to do whatever you wanted and reinvent yourself and break that glass ceiling of the choreographer has to be a man and has to have a foreign accent, you know, whatever that might be. And so I just wonder if you've ever had that thought of, do I fit into the ballet world because I am not what people say a ballerina should be, and I didn't start wanting to be a ballerina to begin with. And was that a bad thing, and then suddenly did it turn into a good thing, or were you always like, no, this is just a good thing?
No, it's actually exactly what you're saying. I always felt like, even at SAB, like everybody was looking at me like I was this, I called it jazz arena. Like I was trying to do ballet, but I was really like a jazz arena, and they were all like, who's this girl? And so that's honestly why I wanted to do ballet, because I felt like I was like the worst at it in a way. like in my jazz classes, I was always the best one. And this one, I felt like, okay, I'm going to work really hard because I'm going to prove all of them wrong, and I'm going to be a ballerina, not a jazzerine. But when I got into the company, what I realized was, like, when new choreographers came in, I was always in the ballets. And I think it was because I was different. And so to your point, it definitely was like the biggest asset for me. And I felt like I was like an outsider, but really that's what kind of made me unique. And I wouldn't take back anything now, but I think it was hard to realize it at that moment. It's just the older I've gotten, and I'm like, oh, sometimes like when we're different, that's what makes us even more special.
And I love that you are now choreographing. I think it's very important that you do. And I think, I wonder, I feel that during the 20th century, something happened, that somehow choreographers became demigods. And there was this myth that is something that either is given to you or you don't have it. And yet that's not the history of ballet at all. Like, even when you look at the best choreographers, Balanchine included, but certainly Petipa, they all started being pretty bad at it. And they just got good because they did it a lot. And some got really good because they had a lot of talent as well as a lot of experience. So I wonder if now that you've done your first works, do you see it as a God-given talent or just a craft that needs to be pursued and then refined, like any other profession, like being a dancer?
I definitely feel like it's something that can be crafted. I still don't really call myself a choreographer, even though now I've done a few ballets.
You are.
Yeah. But I just...
Like a ballerina.
But I just love dance and dancing so much that choreographing to me feels like I get into the room, I pick a piece of, if I pick a piece of music that I really love, then it's like the steps just kind of flow out. And that's what I mean, like when I choreographed the whole 20 minutes in 10 days, because I just kind of wanted to get a first draft. I didn't worry about every step being the perfect step, because I thought, if I do that, I'm never going to finish this ballet. Like, I just want to get a rough draft, and then I can go back and really kind of change certain sections. But that's what I mean, like, who can make the perfect work? I think it can just continue evolving. And I feel like each time I do something, it gets a bit better. And that's like all I can hope for, is to keep pushing myself to get better.
So this is a question for all of you. But 6 years later, what did you learn about the process, about filming dance, about the do's and don'ts, and about what to do next?
Well, we learned that life is very unpredictable. I mean, that is the underlying theme. I mean, it's funny, Tyler does about 1,000 things a year that are amazing, and she's always like, you guys should come to this and that. And we had very limited resources in creating this film over those 6 years, and we had to figure out, like, pick our moments to follow Tyler. And we learned so much in that process. I mean, we had no idea that, you know, Roman and Tyler were falling in love in front of our eyes. They didn't know either, obviously.
I kind of knew a little
Did you?
bit.
I
There
have
was
to
suspicion.
say,
Once we
watching
found
the
out.
film, I was like, oh, come on.
We were in San Francisco, actually.
Did you see it in San Francisco?
The second, when you came to my Airbnb, they came to the front door, and Roman and Tyler showed up, and they both were like, hey. And I was like, you're in love. I just knew it. But I didn't say anything, but I could feel it for sure.
Well, because I remember when we found out, I called Alex, and we're going through the footage to be like, is it in this? Did we miss something?
Yes, it was.
It is. Very much.
And the funny thing is, we barely shot Roman at all during that period. Like, every frame of Roman that we shot is in this film, because we were like, oh my God, like that they were flirting there, and you know.
Yeah.
I mean, so much life happened over the course of these 6 years. Like, there've been 3 weddings just with this 4 up here, not to mention the rest of our crew. We've lost family members and pets, and like we've just been through a lot. And I think Tyler, at the helm of this, with her relentlessness in terms of like, you get knocked down, you get back up again. That is what we learn. And independent filmmaking, if you don't have that, you're never going to make a film, because it's constant rejection. It's, hey, we almost have a thing. We're attached to a production company now. We've got a celebrity EP. We didn't sell it. Okay, we're going to keep going. Okay, we're going to film Tyler at the Kennedy Center. Oh my God, she's injured. Okay, it's just like, it's just life. Like, and if you're doing it right, I think, which I feel like we did the project. We did the project and us proud in it. It's like following along those urgent life moments together and getting stronger as we went, and we just really were able to build trust and finally get to this place of completion in this chapter of Tyler's life. She's got so many more ahead, but like it made so much sense to capture this ballet too, which we did not know until like 2 years ago. Like, this is the way that we're gonna outro David Lemon, outro the film. Like, this is the send off into her next chapter.
And that was the crux, I think, right? When when ballet happened, like that was like, oh, that's our ending. Yeah. And that's when we could finish the film.
So I have been told I can give 1 or maybe 2 questions, if very brief. Any brave people that want to ask a question? Yes?
Sorry, I'm nervous.
It's okay.
That's okay, me too.
Really fast, I just want to tell you, Tyler, like, during COVID, I was always taking your classes on Instagram Live. Like, that's how I got through all of my ballet after graduating. So I just wanted to ask, you were talking about, and we saw all your choreographic process. I just wanted to know what other details that were left out that you would through choreographing your first times.
So really, like you saw it, I didn't have any time to prepare because I was with my dad like those last 2 months, and then I literally came back and started the ballet. So I was literally, thank goodness Roman can read music, and he was helping me count it before the day I went in. And I just was up there dancing with him. I feel like all I needed to know was the music, and then I would try something. And what's interesting about, maybe you didn't see this part, this is good, is that sometimes something that feels really good on me doesn't look good on the person that I have in the front of the room. And as much as I can love the way it feels and the way it looks on me, like they're the people dancing it. So I'm not a type of choreographer who is set in her way, like at all. So it's really about that collaboration and how they are feeling, because I want them to go into their performance feeling the best they can, because that's how you get the best product. So that wasn't really shown in there, but a lot of the times that happens, and it's like, dang, I really liked that step, but it's really not working on that person. So, okay, toss it out.
One more? Yeah? Oh, we have a girl over there. Thank you, Garen.
Hi, Tyler. I'm Lauren. And what is your best advice for a younger dancer?
Ooh, this is good. I have so many things I want to say.
I got your book.
You got my book? Yeah, this is a big chapter in it. I always live by the saying for myself, like, always a student. I don't feel like you can ever know anything to the point where you should never stop learning. And so if you have that, like, attitude, you'll continue growing. And I have to say one other thing, that it's called Talent Plus in my book. And it's like, there's nothing worse to me than the talented person that doesn't, like, use what they have or work for it. And so this career is, like, so hard that if you don't have everything in that plus section, like if you don't have the perseverance or the dedication or the willing to put in the work and the sacrifices, like, you're not going to reach your fullest potential. So to me, it's so much about how much you, like, want to invest in yourself, you know, because the amount of work you're going to put in is what you're going to get out, I think.
Thank you.
Those are wise words. I will certainly follow her advice. And yes, thank you again for all of you for giving us this beautiful documentary, for this huge window into our world, for believing in not obviously Tyler, because everybody does believe in Tyler, but believing that this was something worth capturing, and for investing 6 years of your lives in sharing all this with us. So thank you, everybody, and thank you for coming tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Tamara. Just one, thank you so much, everybody, for coming. I know everybody's going to want to mingle because we've got a great crowd here. If we could do the mingling in the lobby, that'd be great because we have to break down the theater. So we'll see you out there. Thank you so much.